I'm Karen Neal, the Urban Horticulture Agent, and as we move towards the end of August, we start moving into lawn care season. So to prepare you for that, I'm going to tell you a little bit about some of the things you need to keep in mind when you're getting ready to overseed your lawn. The first thing is you want to have a soil test done. Now, the soil testing is free here in North Carolina. You can pick up the kits at many local garden centers or here at the Extension office. The reason that this is so important, it's going to tell you first the pH of the soil and second the nutrient level in the soil. The pH affects the plant's ability to set roots. Not only that, but the plant's ability for those roots to uptake nutrients. If your pH is off, the plant simply cannot function. And in order for a plant to be happy and healthy, we've got to have that strong root system. So pH is the very first thing we look at. Many times in this area, you're going to find out your pH is low, meaning you're going to need to add phosphorus. Well, the nice thing about these soil tests is they give you a lime recommendation. How many pounds per 1,000 square feet that you're going to need to add. And that's very important because that's going to keep you right on track. You know, I've heard over the years people say, oh, I've added 25 pounds of lime every year. Well, why? And what is that doing for your soil? By having a soil test done, you know exactly how much lime you need to add. You get that out there, change or fix the pH. You shouldn't have to add lime again for another 3 to 5 years. And that would be when you get another soil test done. In this case, we're going to go ahead and take a random sample of our lawn area. If it's a level area, maybe taking 5 to 6 different samples at a depth of about 6 inches deep, and then coming back and mixing them up in our bucket before we actually fill our soil sample box. Give it a number, label it. You know, if FF1 is your front yard, you know, then go on to the backyard, the side yards. Anywhere you have a grade change or anywhere they brought in soil, you need to take a separate sample because the pH and nutrient levels may change in those locations. As far as the nutrient levels, that plays a major role in what fertilizers we're going to purchase, and we'll tackle that in just a bit. Okay, so after our soil testing is done, we're looking at our lawn and making an evaluation about, you know, is it 50% weeds? Is it 50% bare places? And if that's the case, then you probably need to go through a complete renovation and not just an overseeding. With a complete renovation, you're looking at using something like Roundup, which is a non-selective herbicide. It will kill all the grass. The Roundup is a material that you can safely apply by following label directions. Once it dries, pets are okay to go back outside. It will break down, deactivate once it reaches the soil surface. But follow label directions. If you're addressing weed problems like Bermuda grass, first I would tell you to look at where the Bermuda grass came from. If you back up to a golf course or your neighbor has Bermuda grass and they're not treating it, you may want to think about Bermuda grass as a lawn grass. It does make a nice lawn grass. You just need to learn how to manage it a little bit differently. But the Roundup will kill everything. After it's dead, you're going to come in and till it to a depth of 6 inches before you're doing your overseeding. If, however, you have evaluated your lawn, you have a certain number of weeds, but it's not too bad, you really just want to thicken it up, don't be too hasty to try to get rid of those weeds. A lot of people will head out to buy the broadleaf weed killers, but if you read the label directions, this will tell you you must wait 4 to 6 weeks before you actually can put down grass seed. That's going to push you way into October. You know, if September 1st is the key time to get your lawn established. So really wouldn't recommend using a broadleaf weed control product when you are thinking about overseeding. If the weeds are driving you crazy, you want to get rid of them before you come in and you aerate and you put your seed down, use the Roundup. Just spot treat the individual weeds. Roundup only has about a 7-day waiting period as opposed to the 4 to 6 weeks that you'll have to wait for the broadleaf weed control products. Okay, when you head to the garden center to pick out your grass seed, there's a couple of key things to look at here. In this case, every bag of grass seed has a seed tag, and these are on there for your protection. There are a couple of key things you want to pay attention to. Look at the date that seed was last tested. On one of these bags, the date was on here, the date was last tested 1/07. Well, it's 2009, soon to be 2010. This seed is old seed. Grass seed does not save well. You want to make sure you're buying as fresh or as current a seed as you possibly can find, so that you're getting the best germination. So, and here I've found, here's one that's a 5/09 testing date. Perfect for if you're going to be seeding this fall. Okay, the other thing to look at on here is it'll give you the mix as far as the different types of seed or cultivars of seed. It gives you the percentages, you'll find them in this mix, and then it's going to tell you the germination percent. We want the highest germination percent we can find. This is 85%, but a little bit more searching and I was able to find one that's 90%. You know, do you want 85% or 90% germination? The whole reason we're doing this is to get a nice, thick, established lawn. This is your opportunity to make sure you are buying fresh, top quality seed. We have more and more folks that are actually switching and going organic, and in doing so, there are some organic fertilizers on the market. What I wanted to point out though, this is the fertilizer you're buying that's organic. It's a little bit different than the synthetic fertilizers, and it has to do with the analysis. If we look down here, the analysis on this fertilizer is a 20-27-5, which is a starter fertilizer. That nitrogen number is fairly high, and that's because it is a slow release fertilizer, a small amount being available right away, the rest being available over the next couple of weeks. Well, in the case of an organic fertilizer, it is slow release. All that fertilizer is released over a slow period of time because it takes microorganisms, moisture, temperature, all to start activating it and breaking it apart. But the numbers on this bag, you can see, it's an 11-2-2. So it's a very small amount of phosphorus and potassium, and even only 11% nitrogen. So it's not going to cause that rapid green up so many people are used to. In fact, the organic fertilizers, I'd like to think of them more as they help to feed the soil. What you're doing is promoting healthier soil. You're going to promote the earthworms, you're going to promote the microorganisms within the soil, all the things that are actually going to end up helping the root system of the plant. And if that's occurring, the plant can access many of those nutrients that are found naturally in our soil anyway. So there's, you do have two choices, whether it's a synthetic fertilizer or the organic fertilizer that are now out there to you. I would try to make sure that you are using your soil test results. If it tells you you need phosphorus, this is not going to give you enough phosphorus. If you wanted to go organic with phosphorus, you probably would need to find something like the rock phosphate to bring that phosphorus level up. Or the synthetic is a 0-30-60, the triple superphosphate or the superphosphate type fertilizers. Now when using fertilizer, got one more point to make, and that is, when we use fertilizers, oftentimes when we're using rotary spreaders, they spread that fertilizer all over the place. And what you want to make sure is that if you've thrown that fertilizer on your driveway or walkway, that you take the next couple of minutes just to come back and sweep it off of that hard surface area. This is extremely important when it comes to water quality issues. Fertilizer, pesticides that are left on hard surfaces are going to wash straight down the storm drain with the first rain. So a couple of extra minutes sweeping that fertilizer off of that walkway is going to prevent those nutrients getting into our storm water and creating a pollutant. They're part of our Growing the Greenway series, and you can see when those will be available at the end of this program. You also can go online to our website, which is www.guilfordgardenanswers, and the events are listed on that page as well. So hopefully we'll see you in one of our classes, but you've got a better understanding of how to go about getting your lawn ready and established this fall.